What's up, fellas? Your lovely commissioner coming at you. Doing the recap of what week would this is this? Yeah, week 15. Um, the playoffs. We're in the playoffs finally. Well, last week was I guess the official start of the playoffs, but now this week everybody gets to participate instead of just us four. And I wanted to apologize just before I dive into this too much. I realized there was something weird with last week's video at the end there. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It was something funky. I don't know. There was somebody yelling in the background. I don't know what happened. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it until I had already posted it, and I wasn't able to make a new video to replace that one. So again, my apologies for that. But let's dive right into the matchups here. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna go out of order here. I don't even have this organized. Today's gonna be a fast one. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of time today. So this video will probably still end up going 12 minutes anyways. Let's start off with the toilet bowl. So last week, all four boys in the toilet bowl, Don, Dennis, Corey, and Matt had buys. And this week they had something to play for, or to, well, like I always say, not necessarily to play for, but to play not to get, which is the coveted license plate, the pink license plate that says, I finished last in my fantasy football league. Right now it is on Corey's car. Let's see whose car it's going to end up on. Let's see if it stays on Corey's car. Let's start with the matchup between Matt and Don. And weird, you know what, Don? You managed to get 2 wins this year, but man, oh man, you are struggling, dude. You started Mike Evans, which I don't know why you did that. You started Greg Olsen, who got 0 points as well. We still do have something to play for, so I'd make sure you're checking your team and check it off. And as Wilford Brimley once said, 138-96, Matt avoids the plate this year. He had Tyreek Hill, 24 points. Sterling Shepard, 20 points. Buffalo's defense, 21 points. Nice. 138 points. Solid week out of Matt. Don had 96, like I said. He had three players. He had Mark Ingram, 24 points. Todd Gurley, 20 points. Terry McLaurin, 24 points. He sat Dan Bailey, a kicker. He had 15 points. I think Don could have, I haven't totally studied this, but I think Don could have snuck out a win here. He chose not to, though. He started the wrong guys, and that's why he's competing for the plate. This week. Let's see who his opponent is. And then the other matchup between Corey and Dennis. And Corey, get the screwdriver out, because that plate is coming off your car. 123-108. Dennis loses and is facing Don for the plate. Big matchup coming this week. So, Matt and Corey, you have the week off. You can kind of take it easy. Dennis and Don, honestly, I don't think I don't think our championship matchup players are as worried about it as this matchup as you guys should be. Matchup wise, Dennis lost with Saquon Barkley getting 30 points, and that's never good. Corey had Delaney Walker and Kenyon Drake at 40 points. I mean, actually, I'm not going to lie. I didn't even know that would happen until I just read that right now. Wow, Kenyon Drake, holy shit. 4 fucking touchdowns. Jeez, Rosie. Pretty impressive. Cleveland's defense went negative, but hey, when you got a player that scores 40 points, who gives a shit? Corey, stay from the plate. Now let's get into the other matchup that didn't really matter. It sucks because I think this is the first time I'm not going to make the matchup of the week, which, God, that sucks. But you know what? Hey, I can't have all the fun. Between 5th and 6th place, Perk and I face each other since we both lost last week. I won 168-144. Of course, I put up one of my biggest weeks of the year when it doesn't matter. Pretty fucking standard for my team. Jameis Winston, 34 points. DJ Moore, 20 points. Devontae Adams, 23 points. Chris Carson, 27 points. George Kittle, 26 points. Pretty good. And actually, Matt, like I said, Matt had 144. Pretty good matchup. He had Julio, who I didn't even know he was still playing in the league. I thought he was retired or something. 38 points. So I guess he is still around. Nick Chubb, 24. Whatever. We weren't playing for anything, so who gives a shit? Although Perk did pick up a tight end for this week, so he just spent $1 on a worthless matchup. So I believe that's what they call bad investments. Anyways, let's move on to the important matchups. First one we have between the cousins, Nick and Mitch. Nick finished the season in first place, had a bye last week. Mitch beat Perk last week to make it to this point, and unfortunately, Mitch's run ends here. Nick had a 170 this week. Pretty solid week to put up in playoffs. Not bad, Nick. Mitch had a 139. Solid week, but not enough. Let's run through the matchup super quick. Patty Mahomes, 24 points. Michael Thomas, 31 points last night. Sanders had him 35 points. Kelsey had him 25 points. Yeah, I mean, he sat. He had some points on his bench as well. Nick's going to be tough to beat next week. Nick makes it to the championship. And one caveat, I know we talked about this in the league, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but I do want to be clear about it. So Nick won the championship last year, and then this year we started that Empire League, or whatever you want to call it, the Empire money, where basically every year we're taking $40 and setting it aside for back-to-back champions. If Nick wins the championship this year, he does not get that money. Last year's champion is not eligible for that money. So Nick, you might have picked the wrong year to potentially win back-to-back. Although if you go back-to-back, you will win $80 next year. Anyways, just want to throw that out there so there's no confusion. Nick onto the championship, Mitch onto third place. And remember, third place still pays for, I think it's like $74 or something like that. It's your entry fee plus 10% of whatever was left over after the party. So yeah, I think it's 70 some odd bucks. So I mean, Mitch, you're still playing for something. Yeah, at least, if you're not going to win the championship, get your money back. Matchup of the week. Let's look at it here. We had Brandon and Nate. Nate had the bye last week, and Brandon beat me by 0.000001 point to make it this far. And Brandon, sorry, you didn't make it. I think much to the chagrin of everybody in the league, Nate won. And, I kind of feel bad. It sucks that Nate won. I mean, let's be honest. It sucks that Nate won. But think about it this way. All the other guys that Nate plays fantasy football with in his other leagues, you know how he has other leagues, he'll be telling about this matchup. So all of his other leagues are not going to stop hearing about this and how he beat Brandon and whatever. So at least there's something. At least the other guys that Nate plays fantasy football with will have to suffer as well. So silver lining. Matchup, Lamar Jackson, weird, 37 points. It's just pretty much automatic at this point. Devontae Parker for Nate, 23. Zeke had 31. Minnesota's defense had 30. He also benched Carson Wentz, who had 22 points, but apparently that was the right move. Brandon, as much as I want to talk about your lineup, I'm going to get into your bench here in a second, but let's look at the lineup first. Drew Brees last night, 28 points, not bad. Tyler Higbee, 23 points. But Brandon had 97 points on his bench. He sat Tyler Lockett, 26 points. Jameson Crowder, 27 points. James Conner had 15. Yep, you should have started him. And you had a player that was out. So between 5 guys on your bench, you scored 97 points. You could have easily won, but you chose not to. So, like I said earlier, we will still have a matchup, we'll have repeat champions no matter what, whether it's Nick for the third time or Nate for the second time. Like I said, Brandon and Mitch are playing for their money back. So Nate and Nick, good luck next week. Brandon and Mitch, good luck next week, even though you don't have quite as much to play for. And I'm sorry, I did not look up what first place wins. I have it. It's 400 some odd bucks. I don't remember. I think second's right around 200, but again, I'm not totally positive. And best of luck, especially matchup of the week next week for the plate between Don and Dennis. Good luck. Hopefully you score a lot of points. So for those of you that have something to play for, good luck. I have no matchup next week. Perk has no matchup next week, so I'm done. I'm gonna put a cap on the League 8, and we will do the recap video next week. See ya.